Hello, everybody. I just wanted to do a quick book review of Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. Now, I read this, it's the first book I read in 2018, and I was never planning on reading this book. I'd heard good things, but it is a dystopian kind of book, and I know that I don't like reading books in that genre, but it was given as a gift to me by a book-loving friend and said, "You need to read this." And so I said, "Okay, I will read it." And I'm so happy I did. It was so amazing. It was so good. And I just wanted to tell you about it. So this book was published in 2014, and it was a finalist for the National Book Award. And it's a post-apocalyptic book. Um, it focuses around a group of actors and musicians traveling this destroyed world performing Shakespeare plays. And so that was the one little ploy that got me to be somewhat interested in this book, because it's unlike a lot of the dystopians that you would come across normally. And so the reason that this world is so devastated is because 20 years prior there was a strange flu pandemic that there was no cure for. There was nothing that they could suppress the disease. And so um, the modern world that we all know of, that these characters are in, ended, and they basically had to reinvent their lives. And so the chapters go back and forth between a long time before the flu pandemic, right during the actual event, and then gradually leading up to the 20 years past that involves the Shakespearean group. And there's a couple different plots that go back and forth, and you get to see kind of how they all weave together, and it's done so beautifully. Um, there's a little twist in it, and I kind of figured it out a little bit, but it's not spoilery kind of everything is ruined because you know this twist. But um, yeah, I thought it was a truly amazing book. Emily St. John is a very gifted writer. The characters feel so raw and real. They're very fleshed out, and you have sympathy for these characters, even if they're not the most easy to sympathize with. But you understand why they are the way they are, because the world has become a very dangerous place, because everybody's kind of on the survival of the fittest mindset. There's even talk of a new religion, and it's just a world that is so crazy, yet it doesn't seem unbelievable because of the way that she creates this dystopian world. It seems very believable that a flu could potentially do this, and the world that we know with cell phones, electricity, everything is ceased to exist. And there's one scene in the book where two of the actors, many years after the flu, stumble upon an undiscovered house. It was still locked, and they were able to get inside and look through an untouched, non-ransacked house. And it was really one of the first times that they were able to see what pre-dystopian world looked like. And it was very fascinating to read, especially that piece for me. Yeah, you feel so much for these characters going, especially during the time right when the flu is happening and they have to reinvent their life. And it was hard to read at times because it's so real feeling. It's very depressing at times because these characters don't know how to deal with this. People can't get their medications anymore. They have to find other ways for food, sustenance, and it really is a good thinking book. It really makes you appreciate the everything that we have in this world. And even if I can even like this as a dystopian post-apocalyptic book, I think everybody can like this book. So I highly recommend Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. Happy reading.